Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Pro Wrestling Perspectives podcast. This is episode 7. There's 6 more on our YouTube page, Pro Wrestling Perspectives. We invite you to check those out. Along with that, our email is prowrestlingperspectives@gmail.com. If you have a hint or you want to send a comment or you'd like to be on the show, this is your way to do it. Just email us and let us know, so that we can either make improvements or we can get you on the show to let everybody know what your opinions of the show is. My name is John Alford. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm going to pass it on to the other guys to let you know who's here. Of course, it's the Whitner boys. Chance, how are you doing tonight? Chance? Either they're frozen.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? I'm doing great, John. What's up, babe?
Yep.
You know, I'm always ready.
Was that me? You broke up for a second there.
No, you're doing
Don't worry about it. This episode is going to be dedicated to Chase's son, Braxton, who pitched a no-hitter tonight in his baseball game.
That he did. That's why we're late tonight. I just walked in the door from the ballpark, which is sad for 10-year-olds.
You came within a butthole hair of being replaced last week. Braxton outshined you by a lot. So I want to let you know that your part in this podcast is definitely on probation right now.
Oh, shaky ground.
Yes. Chad, how's it going tonight?
It's going good, man. How y'all? Excited about my new segment.
I am too.
We'll be debuting a new segment tonight.
I've actually done some homework.
Woo. Okay.
Tonight, we're going to talk about who is a played-out wrestler, and Chad will be bringing that to us. But first, we want to go straight into our big topic of the week. It's probably on everybody's minds if you paid attention. I know Chad watched it because he was in my living room while it was going on. The Daniel Bryan segments.
Yes.
Chase, you start us. How do you feel right now? How did you feel about the segments? And were you on the edge of your seat in that last segment when he kept taking punches and kicks?
Oh, man. I tell you, I was. The power bomb to the side of the apron. I was like, are you kidding me? Dude just got back. Mm-hmm. Dude just got back, and we're throwing him to the wolves. But I was super pumped about it because I didn't really start watching wrestling again. He was kind of like on the way. He was out. He was done when we started kind of getting really heavy into it. So I'm excited to actually see him. So me seeing him do his whatever he did in the ring there, I don't know if those are his normal moves or what, but I was excited to see it.
I thought he's really good at doing the promos and just speaking from the heart. He's real genuine, and that comes across in what he says. And for some reason, they give him the latitude not to say all the stupid things that everybody else has to say when they get out there in these corny catchphrases. You knew he was just speaking from the heart, which helped the whole situation out. Chance, did you watch this? And if you did, what were your thoughts of it?
So I watched him like at the very beginning of the show, like go out there and talk in the middle of the ring. And I just assumed that he would be wrestling WrestleMania. Wouldn't wrestle before then. So when did he get out there and do something toward the end of the episode?
Yeah, what happened?
You gotta go see it.
Yeah, he came out at the end of the show and basically fired Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn because of their actions last week on Shane McMahon, and they jumped him. And at first they were doing like these punches that you knew weren't anywhere near. You could see it. They did a couple of kicks, the haluva kicks that he did, that Sammy does, and it was off. And then you're like, okay, well, I'll see what they're doing. They're going to take it easy on him. Then they go outside the ring and powerbomb him on the edge of the apron there on his back. But he did get in a lot of offense. He was doing kicks in the corner.
Yep.
He did a beautiful German suplex. I love that.
Quick.
Thing. Yeah.
Man, quick German suplex.
Mm-hmm. So that's
I have
how
to go back and watch that because I wasn't expecting him to fight, and I was babysitting Avery at the time, so.
So I mean, the show really wasn't much to watch anyway, but now it kind of adds a little bit of spunk to the SmackDown.
Yeah, true.
Chad?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think he would do wrestling moves, and he did, so that was cool.
Yeah.
He looked pretty active. So, yeah, I think the whole stretcher thing was a little too far, but
yeah,
we'll see how that plays out
for him.
Yeah. That's how it ended, pretty much.
It's funny how they brought a stretcher out for him, but did they bring one out for Shane McMahon at the end of that show?
I don't think they had a chance.
Or did it end? It ended.
Yeah. He almost got put on a stretcher by Kevin Owens, but not in a very comfortable way.
No.
All right, so 2 follow-ups here. Just to let you know, he's going to have to do impact testing. He's going to do basically a concussion test after every single match, see if everything's good. He used a procedure called cryogenic therapy, and it cleared up some of the effects of the concussions that he's had over the years. Now, this is a whole new ball game. It doesn't work for everybody, but I was thinking that this could be something. If you're a wrestler or you're a football player, this would be something that you'd add to your daily or weekly regimen, just to possibly stave off some of those effects of it. So we'll see how that goes. It's probably costly, I would imagine. But if you're making $5-6 million a year,
exactly,
it'd be worth it.
Professional athletes, especially ones that can actually afford it, which most of them can. But that'd be pretty good, pretty cool. I didn't realize that. That's pretty cool.
Yep. And then here's the follow-up question for you: who, in your opinion, should Daniel Bryan wrestle after Mania, like his first big program? We know what he's doing.
You don't think he'll fight? You don't think he'll fight at WrestleMania?
Yeah, it's going to be him, Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I'm talking about after that. I think this will be one and done, but y'all might have a different opinion. Who does he get in a program with after WrestleMania? In y'all's opinion?
It's going to be somebody middle of the road. Middle upper.
I think.
So maybe the
Intercontinental. AJ Styles would be a good person for him to go against, just because he's really good. Like, he's really precise with his movement, with his moves. It gets him back in it. Well, you don't have to win it.
Well, and he don't throw people around either, so he's not gonna hurt.
It's a safer.
I was thinking
similar body style
Randy Orton
too,
or somebody, but because he's actually fought against Randy Orton multiple times in the past.
Randy Orton's careful too.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
he could go after that belt.
I think I'm on the same path as John. I don't see him. I think he's kind of like Shane McMahon, where he'll fight when it's needed for him to fight to build up and sell tickets. But I don't think it's going to be like, all right, I'm done.
I don't
general
see him
manager
week out. I agree.
Exactly.
With
that. I don't see that happening.
So he's probably not going to hold a belt because of that either. So
I don't know if right out the
especially
gate.
For a while.
I don't know right out the gate, but I'd like to see him and Miz get at it because they ended kind of thing. I don't know if you guys remember SmackDown Live, but the Miz came after Daniel Bryan when he couldn't wrestle, kind of hung that over his head. Is like, why don't you go back to if you want to wrestle so bad, why don't you go back to the bingo halls and armories and stuff like that?
He took his move too.
Yep. So that
would be pretty cool.
Deal. But it's all about timing on that. That, to me, is going to be a big one. So maybe you lead into that.
It could be next WrestleMania or something.
Or SummerSlam.
Yeah, SummerSlam. Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
You got Shinsuke and Daniel Bryan have both said that they want to wrestle each other. You got AJ, like y'all said. You got Roman Reigns, who's a possibility. He's usually careful in the ring. I mean, there's so many possibilities. Okay, let's move into our next category here, Chance's Rants. So what's on your mind this week, Chance?
All right, so first thing I want to get off my chest is I'm glad that the Bludgeon Brothers and the Usos finally started to interact. That was an answered request from me personally. So thank you, wrestling. That's on SmackDown, right?
Yes.
So thank you, McMahon and Daniel Bryan, for listening to me personally and answering my request. I appreciate that. Also, I'm gonna give a shout out to Roman Reigns just from going in, week out, getting pummeled. But they're gonna kill that guy. I mean, they gotta find somebody else they can move around and get destroyed like he does every week. I mean, it feels like every week you see him getting just obliterated by somebody or having a 20-minute, 30-minute long match. I mean, I guess he's fit enough for it. He keeps doing it, but just feels like they're gonna run him into the ground. Asuka, kind of the same thing. Just kind of tired of seeing her, honestly. And I thought that match they did was stupid because there's no way in the world they're gonna let Asuka lose that match going into WrestleMania and break the streak against Bliss. So you knew the result of the match before the match even started. You knew it was either going to be an Asuka win or something happened to disqualify somebody. And lastly, my boy Bray Wyatt. You know, I got to give a shout out to Bray Wyatt after that final deletion into the lake. But I'm sad to see that happen, but at the same time, it might be the best thing that could have happened to Bray Wyatt because I'm thinking, this is what I'm thinking. Pull a Michael Myers image out of that, come back from the dead lake, just completely change his character to like a Michael Myers character. I think that would be awesome.
That's cool. That's cool.
That would be legit. I don't see them doing it just because they pander more to younger viewers, but that would be sick if he came back just like.
That was the first thing I thought of since we went to that lake. I was like, Resurrection, Michael Myers. Let's get that mask.
Or if he had to wear a mask.
Let's do this thing.
Yeah, like if he had to wear like a lucha, some type of half lucha mask or like a cane mask, kind of like. That'd be kind of cool.
I would love it. I think they need to roll with that. Shane and Daniel.
Get on the horn.
Y'all need to get that boy a Michael Myers mask and run with that.
That'd be sick.
What do y'all think about? What do y'all think about having a PG show like Raw, and then making SmackDown like TVMA? So
I don't know if you go TVMA, but you could do more like even when I watched the Lucha, like the Luchador, that wrestling league, it's even a little bit more adult, like focused. You know what I mean? They do a little bit more like. They do more kidnapping and more like, you know what I mean? Just more out there type stuff. So, yeah, I think that would be actually pretty cool, John.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Then you could have the Bray Wyatt doing crazy stuff like that on that show. And
you come on later.
You just tell the kids, hey, you can't watch this one. And
Yeah.
Or they could actually, instead of doing it live, record it and put it on at 9 on a Tuesday or Thursday night. Instead of doing it live. If the live ain't working, I mean, SmackDown ain't always been live.
You're right.
So stop doing it live and do it later at night, and that could be your other show.
Yeah.
Man, we are just they need to subscribe.
Yep.
Because we're talking about tag teams. I think they are. I think they're secretly subscribing to us. If y'all didn't know this already.
Yep.
WWE secretly subscribes to us under one of these names. They're getting the women tag team together. And now they're going to do an adult, basically an Adult Swim WWE on SmackDown.
We see, I get an email every week from WWE, and they ask me for my picks, and I say, just listen to the podcast, man. And they listen to the podcast, and boom, you see what happens.
Stuff starts happening. Nice.
That's all I got with my rants tonight.
Good rant.
We gotta get some theme songs or something like that
I
going.
know we got. We need to work on that, like starting to put some theme music to our stuff. But
I'll
hey,
find me something.
we're new. We're new.
We're getting there.
Disney World wasn't built in one day.
Yeah.
You're right
It's
about
true.
that.
What's up
All
next,
right.
John Boy?
It is how to adjust the rosters. Now, this is going to be long and complicated. I'm going to ask that you guys listen and try to absorb everything that I got to say. So I looked at both rosters, and there's a ton of wrestlers, male and female, on both shows. So looking at the rosters, I came up with the concept that there are, let's see here, about 10. There's 26 superstars that are good, like really good on Raw. They're not all world title contenders, but they're guys that we see every week or that could potentially be there.
That can perform, yeah.
Yes, that you can be interested in right now.
Right.
10 of them are top guys. You also have 7 females that are top superstars, and you have a couple that are underutilized right now. So that's Raw. SmackDown, you got 26, the same number as Raw, 26 superstars that I would consider very good. And there's some, just taking up space like Zack Ryder kind of guys. But 26 legit guys. 10 of them are top guys that we would all recognize and say this guy could be a title contender, maybe U.S., maybe world title. You have 4 females that I feel like are really good, that if you put the women's belt on them, you wouldn't be like, that don't make any sense. And you have several that have a lot of potential that you just don't hear a lot about. So here's my concept. Let's break the year into 2 seasons. You got a 6 months over here. You got a 6 months over here. And you're still going to have a SmackDown show. You're still going to have a Raw show. But you're taking those 2 rosters and splitting them in half. You get what I'm saying? So let's think Raw.
You're talking about splitting the 26 on each.
You're talking about where, so you wouldn't see half of the wrestlers for half of the year.
Yes. So let's take the Raw. Raw is going to have a first half of the year and a second half of the year. SmackDown is going to do the same thing. They're going to have a first half of the year and a second half of the year. You take the Raw roster and divide it in 2 and give one part of that roster the first half of the year and give the other roster the second half of the year. You're doing the same thing to SmackDown.
They're never doing that.
I know.
No.
But let me tell you some of the pros and the cons of this. Plus, I hadn't mentioned this, but they're bringing people up from NXT. So what are the 2 things that WWE has a problem with right now? One, there's a lot of people on the roster that they don't do anything with. Example, Rusev, who we think could do a lot. And then there's people that they hardly ever use, and you think they suck. Chad's going to bring up one guy later on that right now he sucks. We don't know if that's his fault or the situation, whatever. It may be more his fault than WWE. But the bottom line is there's people that aren't being utilized. So you break it up into 2 different parts. I'm going to give you my pros and my cons, and then I'll hear you guys' opinions on it. Chad's right. It probably will never happen. Here are the pros. You don't have overexposure like what Chance was hitting at. You don't see the same guys every single week, and it gets to the point to where they don't matter, or they're not as much of a prize as they used to. When I was growing up, you rarely ever saw Hulk Hogan, and when you did, it was the greatest day of your life. And he only wrestled at certain times too.
He only wrestled at main events.
So when you hear about that, you're like, I'm gonna pay $30 to see Hulk Hogan wrestle, and that was special. You don't got that anymore. Oh, I like Roman Reigns. I'm a big fan of him. You're going to see him 1, sometimes 2 times every Monday night. That takes away that specialness of it. It's a potential for more revenue for the WWE, because what you could do then is take both of those Raw rosters and run them at the same time. One of those teams is running only house shows. The other team is doing Raw and then 3 house shows. You can stretch them out. You can do the same thing with SmackDown. You cover more area, and possibly more revenue that way.
All right.
More chance for lower card guys to shine. So,
well, John, basically, don't they do that with NXT? Isn't that basically what NXT is?
but the problem is NXT guys are coming up. So, what are you going to do with all these guys?
I like what you're saying, but like instead of doing it split like you're talking about, if the guys that aren't cutting it, instead of keeping them on the main roster, send them down like a minor league. That's what the NXT is. It's just like a professional athlete. If he ain't cutting it, you send him to the minor leagues, let him figure out what he needs to figure out, develop another character or whatever he needs to do to get back onto the main roster.
Here's the problem. NXT is developmental, and they have an hour a week. So you got an hour a week, and what you're trying to do is get some of these guys in that are just now in the system, and you're trying to develop them. The good thing about what you're saying, you take a guy like Dolph Ziggler, and you bring him down there, he's going to show them some of the tricks of the trades. He's going to give them a lot of experience. That is a suggestion. I just think the rosters are too big right now to accommodate for people just dropping down.
Well, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, is that the reason they're so big is because of how much time they're having to fill.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking 3 hours of a show. I mean, if you talk about splitting the roster and doing like you're talking about going to an hour show.
But think about
they
all
lose
the
money
people
that way on the network.
Okay. But my point is yes, there's a lot of time to fill, but they're underutilizing guys still.
Yeah.
Go check out the rosters. They're massive. And how many
I see it both ways.
Yeah. But they're not maximizing what they have, in my opinion. Now, here's another good thing. It's a chance to rest overworked guys. Because now you can kind of hide guys who have an injury or who just need to take a break. Cons. These are the negatives I see. Injuries may cause problems on live events and TV shows. Several of the guys I mentioned, they're injured right now. So if you were counting on them to be there, then you got to pull somebody from the other shows to take that person's spot, or you got to push somebody that you may not be 100% on up to that potential spot.
Yeah, your storylines would get kind of all over the place.
Yep. WrestleMania paydays. WrestleMania is the biggest pay-per-view of the year, so it would most likely be the end of one season and the beginning of the other at that time, and one of the groups is going to be left out because their main events aren't concluding at the same time. And a biggie: how do you transition the belts? So if we're splitting into two seasons, and somebody was the world title holder at the end of one season, then what do you do with the belt when the new season starts and there's a whole other group of guys? So that's the major flaw in this. And
yeah, so I like what you're talking about. You would just have to do it a little, tweak it, not so much in season sets, but just do like what we talked about of keeping people off. Like they did it with Shinsuke for a while. They kept him off the show for it felt like 2 or 3 weeks. You didn't see him at all.
It was all of a sudden, Royal Rumble to Fastlane. However long that was.
And you're like, man, where's this dude been? And so then when you see him, it's kind of like, all right. Yep. So I think they could do more like that and start using the people you're talking about to fill the hours up. You know, I don't care if you do me a storyline once every 3 weeks. It kind of like this past week we didn't see Breezango, and I like Breezango. I like their little story and what they do with the Fashion Files, and I'm like, man, I didn't see him this week. So I mean, you could do that with all these little dudes.
How about Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable? They haven't been on in at least a month and a half.
Exactly.
I haven't seen them in a while.
And I don't know if they're hurt or if they just don't have nothing going on. So that's why I'm like, you could do your talent. You could stretch your talent out and use them better. I think they just don't have enough creative people writing for them, and so they're stuck with taking care of their main people instead of being able to spread it out all over.
Well, the problem
they don't have enough creative writers.
You got to remember they're also live somewhere at a stadium. And if somebody pays $150 to go to a ticket and Roman Reigns doesn't show up, if Seth Rollins doesn't show up, they're going to hear about that. So,
Yeah.
The big guys are going to probably be there. It's just part of it,
Well, the way around that is you got Roman
Not
Reigns.
televise it.
No, well, Roman Reigns is headlining one set of house shows, and then you got another big star like Finn Balor or Seth Rollins or Daniel Bryan. He's headlining the other. So there's ways around it, but the problems I mentioned, I think they're too big to overcome.
Yeah, the belts are way too big to fool with.
Yeah, I think the biggest pro to what you just said is having time to rest the guys. Being them missing time really. Only having a 6-month season as opposed to all year long.
Yeah. All right. So
I think Chase's, and what you said earlier, just making those guys not show up as much, giving them time off, more between multiple weeks off where you don't see them, would be a better solution.
And to your point earlier, Chance, you could write people off with a big beatdown, but we all know, despite what happened to Roman Reigns last week, he's going to show back up Monday night. So that's it's going to be like, so what happened there? You basically weaken the beatdowns because he'll be back there. Where's that B at? Where's Brock Lesnar?
Exactly. We should not see him till WrestleMania.
Yeah, we don't know if he's going to make it. He's day to day or something like that.
Exactly. Play it that way, and then maybe at WrestleMania, you don't know if he's going to be there, but you know he's going to be there.
Or maybe
you know what I mean, like
the end of the Raw before WrestleMania, he comes out and something like that to where he's going to be there or something.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next session. A lot of good discussion there. Let's see, we got the match of the week. Chase.
All right, match of the week.
Match of the week.
I'm gonna stay on Raw this week.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there were some good things on SmackDown with Daniel Bryan coming back, and that at the end was really good, even though it wasn't a match, so therefore I didn't use it. But I'm going to one that Chance hated on earlier. It was a toss-up between the Bliss and Asuka match and the mixed match. If nobody got to see it, it was great. I love the chemistry that Alexa and Braun were flirting with in that show. So if you hadn't seen it, you need to go see it. But the Bliss and Asuka match I thought was actually pretty good. I thought they told a really good story back and forth, and then with Mickie James being out there, kind of messing around, I thought it was a good match. I know some of you didn't think that, but I thought it was a good match. I thought Raw was kind of lackluster this week, so that's probably the best out of what was there available.
Yeah, I would agree with you. It was a good match. You just knew what the end result was going to be. So
yeah, I mean, I pretty much know the end result on most of them anyway. Especially right before WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So, but I thought it was a good technical match. You don't object, John? I
don't object. So I really didn't remember a lot about that match. Do you have like a breakdown? I know at the end.
Well, okay, at the very beginning, you got she tried to walk off, like she tried to just quit. And that's when what's her name? Nia come running out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then Alexa, runs off the side and they run out backstage and whatnot. But I thought that they told a really good story with the way that, most time when you get in there with Asuka, it's just all this other kind of, you know what I mean? It took me back to old school, John, that like they headlock, you know what I mean? They arm locked and a little back and forth banter. And you know how Alexa is. She's good at that anyway.
Yeah, she's awesome.
But I thought it was a good match. I enjoyed watching it. But that's why I only say that because that's the only match I could really remember that, I kept thinking about. Everything else was kind of like, and of course the Braun matches. I love all Braun matches, but I was going to say that about Braun, the same way Chance said that about Roman Reigns, is I think he's starting to get kind of, used a little too much. I get it. I love him, and I can watch him every day, and I love everything he's doing. But I don't like what you're saying. I don't want him to, kill their talent and their momentum with him. Let it linger a little bit. Play, tease a little bit. Don't just give us everything.
All right.
But that's my match. I mean, y'all might have a better match. I don't know.
I got a question for you. What's the motivation for Mickie James to get all of the butt whippings that Alexa's supposed to get? What's her motivation here?
I think she's actually going to turn on her. I think they're setting that up because they talked about it a lot during that match about why is Mickie James still friends with Alexa after how Alexa treated her, and why is she still helping her? I think they're going to try to maybe set something up where Mickie James turns on her.
Well, she took a whooping from Nia Jax to save her friend, and that's not the first time that's happened. She's usually the one that wrestles the matches that Alexa don't happen. So that's only. But they do that all the time with it. This guy's taking all the butt whoopings for the other guy. Don't make sense.
I mean, if you follow the storyline all the way from where Mickie James is even back because of Alexa, so maybe that's why she's like, you know what I mean. If you really watched it from the beginning and really pay attention to it, I know it's kind of hard, but
they could be set up maybe that's why.
I think they're setting something up. Like maybe Mickie James is like, I'm tired of taking your. Yep. Something.
What happens if Asuka wins the belt at WrestleMania? Does she then convert to being a Raw player?
It's all up in the air right now.
SmackDown.
Yeah, she should go to SmackDown. But if she gets the belt, she'll probably go to SmackDown. But they're having that shake-up at the next pay-per-view after WrestleMania. Okay. And a sidebar here, I fully respect all the females. I view them as wrestlers first, and I'm really interested in what they're doing. But Mickie James, she's a very attractive person. I'm just going to leave it at that. And the way she was Tuesday night, very attractive. So
Monday night.
Yeah, Monday night.
She's on Raw. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, and that's probably why she's still there, because she still is attractive and she plays that role.
She's very good in the ring. That's the first thing. Yep. She's not just taking up space. They used to just put beautiful women out there and wrestle, but she's a total package.
It's funny how, like, the other one that popped into my mind of a good match was another female match, was the Charlotte and who was she fighting?
Natalya.
And which Charlotte looked terrible to me. First, most time I'm a Charlotte fan, but she looked awful in that match. Like, just real clunky. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I wasn't digging it. But then Carmella comes out, and I was like, oh, here we go. Here we go. Yep. He tried to cash it in again and got beat down.
It was really good because I wasn't thinking about it at all. I wasn't. You hear that? The kid's like, oh.
Yep. It caught me off guard so bad. I was like, oh, yeah, baby. And then, no.
So with WWE, what you have to do is just like, don't focus on any storyline leading to WrestleMania, because you'll ultimately be disappointed. You'll be able to talk yourself out of what's happening. So you got Asuka, and I know you like that match, but Asuka's supposed to be dominating. And since she got to Raw, she's been anything but. So now she's just desperate to save the streak as opposed to going through fulls. Flip over to SmackDown. You got Charlotte getting beat by Natalya after she was like distracted with all that mess. So she
got rolled up.
She's not going into WrestleMania as this dominant champion. She's going to go into it as a person who was distracted by something and just got beat. And Asuka's going to go into it not this dominant force. She's going to go into a woman who barely won some of these matches.
Well, you can't make her just obviously beat down Alexa Bliss because I mean she's still the champ, you
They
know.
don't have that match.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have had it.
I'm okay with that, but yeah, she's not beaten down, folks. She's just kind of she's. I thought that
I
was
think
her
what you're
thing, John.
saying
I thought
too
she just
is
tapped out people anyway.
Yeah.
what you're saying here is the pre-WrestleMania blues
Yeah.
because they're not gonna
It's the
they're not
calm
gonna
before the
really
storm,
push
man.
these matches,
Mm-hmm.
huh?
Well, they don't want to get nobody hurt either, really.
Yeah, they're not gonna get nobody hurt. That's my
Yeah.
point. They're not gonna push these. They're not gonna have an amazing match 2 weeks before WrestleMania. I mean, they're gonna save that for WrestleMania.
So speaking of getting hurt, John,
Yes.
you got any news on that with AJ?
So it's apparently they haven't talked about what the injury is, but it won't keep him from WrestleMania. And at the end of the day, that's all I need to know.
Okay.
I think he's going to take it easy, not wrestle any events until WrestleMania, and so he
That's
should be
another
good to
guy.
go.
Pulled muscle.
That's another guy they beat down this past year too.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
For that
Yeah.
Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens crap.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's over.
All right, let's go into our Raw highlights. Just with this segment that we added, for this week, because I think a lot of cool things happen on the show, or interesting things happen on the show. They weren't necessarily wrestling related. So let's talk about the first one. Is the Roman Reigns segment. I'm going to give a quick recap of what happened, and then we can go around the table and talk about what our opinions of it were. Roman Reigns came out. Kurt Angle came out first, then came Roman Reigns, who was supposed to be suspended, so he's defying the orders of the WWE. And so he refused to leave. They brought out U.S. Marshals. Now, my experience with U.S. Marshals is what was on The Fugitive. And I always think about U.S. Marshals as the guys who go after the guys that are on the run. May be wrong, but I don't see them interfering in a work-related situation like this where a guy refuses to leave the workplace.
Right.
Well, where were they?
in the ring.
Backstage.
Texas,
No,
that was Texas.
Texas? That's my only reason of why you might have saw U.S. Marshals is because of where they were at.
Okay.
That's on. I mean, you got Walker, Texas Ranger, man.
Yeah. Well, these are, with all due respect to U.S. Marshals, these were obviously the bottom three that graduated from U.S. Marshal School because these guys sucked. And I don't think that really lines up with their image.
Roman Reigns is just a beast, John.
He's just Roman Reigns, John.
Very
with
true.
Handcuffs on. He told him not to touch him, John.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
I listened to some podcasts this weekend. It's kind of a delicate situation. Law enforcement and civilians right now. It's a weird time to do this. But as he's being handcuffed and he's leaving the ring, they get a little too hands-on for him, and he starts beating the crap out of these three guys. And
then the music hits, baby.
Wow, wow. By the way, one of those U.S. Marshals took an elbow into the jaw, and he wound up breaking his jaw.
Yeah, I saw that.
The little one.
Yeah. Yikes.
The one Roman Reigns. I mean, he gave it to him, dude.
That were pretty
brutal. Wow.
Them dudes
broke the dude's jaw.
And those are actually wrestlers, independent wrestlers.
Yeah, they're just yep.
So Brock comes out, and he commences going back and forth out of the ring and walking away, then coming back. It's I'd say about 7 or 8 minutes of pure beat down. Suplex, chair. He leaves the ring. Chair. They bring out the stretcher. He comes out, pushes the stretcher over, and that's pretty much the end of the thing. Now, I say the purpose of this was to try to get Roman Reigns over with the crowd as some type of sympathy. I think they screwed up. What do you guys think? Chance?
I think if you're going for the sympathy, you don't make him destroy the U.S. Marshals before Brock comes out there. You let Brock destroy him and the U.S. Marshals, and then that gets some sympathy. I don't think the way they did that at all. If anything, to me, it made him feel like a bad guy and made me not like him.
Yep. Chase?
Yeah, I see that. That's actually a good point, Chance. Yeah, if he would have been like trying to politely get out of there, and then Brock. I mean, I was actually surprised how he was over, John. I mean, how they booed Brock. I was kind of surprised how much they were actually booing him. I mean, like they actually really hated him.
They booed at the
To me,
start,
it's
and
been a while.
they booed at the start, and that whole segment ended with them chanting, "You deserved it," when he got pushed over in the little stretcher. Think about that.
Yeah.
That's just sad. You deserve it, and he's pushed
And they said
over.
that
He got
because
his,
of the marshals.
Yep. That's true. Good point, Chance.
Chad.
He don't care. He just.
If we're gonna have Brock on Monday Night Raw, let the dude wrestle.
He ain't wrestling, dude.
It's just stupid though, man. Bunch of gimmick bullcrap.
He ain't wrestling.
You'd rather have seen Brock dominate that guy that Braun Strowman dominated?
I'd just rather not see somebody knock out 3 marshals and then get thrown around.
We're supposed to have sympathy with them. Now, the WWE will say, we don't care as long as they're getting reactions. They can boo them or they can cheer them. We don't care. But we see every single week that they do care by their actions. They're portraying Roman Reigns to be the good guy, and they want fans to cheer him. And the past week or two, they want fans to boo Brock Lesnar. So they do care about this. If they didn't care about it, they wouldn't go through so much trouble to point each of them in each corner. It's just it's just a way of saying this is our only defense for the fact that we can't tell a great story. We don't cast people in the right.
The best way to get people on Roman Reigns' side is just like go totally against like Triple H and start beating him up or something.
I think you should do it The Rock.
Doing.
I think you should go the Rock route. When The Rock first got to WWE, people were chanting "Die, Rocky, die," and he was like the way over the top baby face. And so he played off of that. He became a bad guy. Eventually, the fans turned back the other way on him. I think you got to do that with Roman Reigns.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he needs to go. Straight up bad guy.
And
I mean bad guy.
He's too intimidating looking for you to sympathize with him. You know, he's like, you look at Daniel Bryan, he's like the underdog, but they try to portray Roman Reigns as that underdog, and it just don't work. He's like 6'3" and a beast. He's a beast, and you got to treat him as such.
Yep.
All right, so let's move on to the Ronda Rousey video. I put this in here especially because I loved it. It was awesome. A lot of the times the WWE doesn't like to point out the negative of a situation. They just want to push it. And what I figured what they do is just go Ronda Rousey. She was dominant in the UFC, period. Now she came to WWE. But I love how they addressed her losses and the kind of how that kind of motivated her and changed her as a person to what she is today. What were your thoughts on it, Chase?
I loved it. That was actually, I mean, I say I loved it. I loved it, and I was glad to do it, but I wish they would have saved it. I don't know, maybe saved it for WrestleMania. I felt that it might have been not as seen as much as like we thought. Yeah. Like maybe people might have turned it off and didn't actually see it because it was on Monday night. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking that, but
why would they
might fast forward it?
Similar.
Well, maybe you might fast forward it. You see it, but you don't really think it's anything like moving. You know what I mean? Yeah. You might think it's just a little.
They played it.
I don't know.
Tuesday too, didn't they?
Maybe that's what I'm thinking about. The Tuesday one. The Tuesday, yeah, because Chad was there. The Tuesday one was bad to the bone.
It was Tuesday. Yeah. Monday's was kind of just a lead up to what they did Tuesday. But then I'm like, why are you playing that on Tuesday? She's not even on SmackDown.
So they don't matter. They don't matter to them anymore.
I said, I'm like, I liked it. And it's a good story, and I like the way you're talking about how they portrayed it, and they gave her they went through everything with her, and so I'm hoping that they really build a good character with her. They're putting a lot of eggs in that basket. I tell you that though.
A lot of the shows suck, but I tell you, the guy or the girl or the team that does these video specials and the video promotions for the pay-per-views,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just awesome. Like the whole theme of Monday Night Raw. Whenever there's a match, you'll see it huge, and you'll see both the guys or the girls that are wrestling that night.
mm-hmm.
Their packaging is just awesome. So I think
Well,
they should be commended for
I think it's more like UFC feel is what it felt like.
It is more like that now.
So and I like even when it's a title match, like when the belt's on the line, they introduce the people and they like it's an actual real. You know what I mean? Like you actually feel like it's something.
I love it. I love all that of what they all do there. Okay, final deletion. Oh boy. Oh boy.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm torn. I was torn watching that. I was like, am I really watching this?
Yeah.
It was like, is this really happening? And Charity's in the room with me, and she's sitting over there. She's like, "What is that?"
I was about to say that's one of them ones where your wife walks in, you're like,
"Don't judge me."
I just thought I felt like they didn't get their airplane tickets, and they had to shoot them at their house. So, hey, just get your phone, and we'll just shoot a video here.
That's what they do. That's what he did.
Since we're snowed in up here in the Northeast.
I mean, I didn't mind that as much as just, I don't know, man. It was just, I actually liked it, and I was into it. I was on the edge of my seat watching it because I was wanting to know what was going to happen. But like the part where he's like hiding behind what's it? I can't remember the name of the place that it was called. Yeah. Where he's hiding behind the little statues, you know what I'm talking about? And he's like, I'm over here, Ray. And he kept going back all over the place.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
So I didn't get to watch all of that, but it was it looked like it was like almost done like as a movie.
Yeah.
Is that how it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Telling you that Mike Myers, man. Doing it.
The random Spanish dude is what is the killer.
Daniel Benjamin. I like everybody that's involved in it, but at the end of the day, it seemed like it was like when you go to the museum and you're like, here's the Lake of Reincarnation, here's this, here's that. Instead of like something that actually made sense, all we were doing is getting snippets of all the parts that was on the compound. Maybe that's the purpose of it. It's weird, and some of it's funny. It's not my thing, though. It's not my thing, though.
How about the best part was when they went into the dome of whatever it was, I can't remember. And the lawnmower was in there.
Mm-hmm.
And
the mower of lawns.
The mower of lawns. The wheelchair's a wheel. And then he got on the lawnmower and he starts going towards him, and then he stands up, and then it's like a cut, and it's like a cut. And I was like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, I have to go back and watch
that little bit.
Like, it would be funny for me.
Oh, it was funny. It was funny. I give him that.
Chad, I think you didn't like it at all. Wasn't your thing?
Something you would have had to been like watching on WWE Network to get, and they just threw it on Raw, which was kind of different. But
yeah, that's true.
Other than it just being good because it was different, I didn't really care for it.
You got to think of the casual fan who just started watching wrestling, and that's what they saw.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't watched wrestling in about 3 or 4 years. Let me turn it on tonight and see what's going on. And that's what you see is him talking about a lawnmower or a wheelchair.
Where I watch that again.
Yeah. It's worse now. How is it worse?
It's like it's worse. And then he flips over the boat. The dude's laying underneath with the little globe in his hands, and he throws it up to Bray.
He's got the whole world in his head. But like Chan said, if anything comes out of this, it could be a blessing. Is we got a different Bray Wyatt coming back. The Michael Myers things will be cool. Just anything at all besides.
I know.
Matt Hardy.
We saw his brother
Yeah.
too. Jeff made an appearance, which I didn't think was going to happen after he got that. I guess it was a DUI he got.
Yep.
But I guess he is coming back. Brother Nero.
The eater of no, what is it? Something about I forget what he calls Bray Wyatt, but I like it. That's just enough for his character to make me like him. Is all the weird names he comes up with for things and people.
I know, man.
All right, Chad, we're going to move on to you. Wrestlers who are played out. Who's the wrestler this week?
Drum roll. And he's not
I think
here.
we're having technical difficulties.
Chad's gone.
Is he asleep?
Technical difficulties.
All right, we're going to move on to our winners and losers.
Winners and losers, yeah.
And we'll get him back. All right, I'll start us off. Winners and losers. I'll probably steal one of y'all's, but I'm going to go winners. Daniel Bryan.
I think it should be a unanimous winner.
Yep.
I mean,
Daniel
for him to
Bryan,
come
we
back,
love you, and we're glad that you're back, and you just made everything better.
Yep.
And that WrestleMania card was awesome, and I was so excited for it. And now, I mean, there's only one match I'm not going to like on the pay-per-view. That's the Rude, Orton,
three-way.
Jinder Mahal. And you got to have the one match where we all get up and go grab our food and sit back down and BS and talk.
You got to have a popcorn match, John.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to just that break. But I've never had a WrestleMania where I was just blown away by all of the matches. They're all going to be good. Besides,
that's true.
And it might be good too.
It could be.
Yep. And my loser is Vince McMahon. I don't know if you guys heard a while back, but Vince McMahon's trying to bring back the XFL.
Yeah.
That's right, isn't it? Yeah. And he basically came out and said, we're bringing back the XFL. That's about as far as we got in the plan. We're going to listen to the fans. We're going to come up with some things, and then we'll get back with you. This week, another guy announced that he was going to have an NFL alternative, and he had all his crap out on the table. He had rules, what they're going to do, what's going to separate them from the NFL. So Vince McMahon is the losers. This guy starting a year before Vince McMahon was planning on it. I think 2019 for the other guy, 2020 for Vince McMahon.
How do you not know that is Vince McMahon? Like, how do you know that Vince McMahon didn't just say, yeah, we're starting it, and he just let that dude start it? Just gave him the money.
I don't know. It'd be kind of a pie in the face till you got there and say all this stuff's going to happen, and then it wound up not happening. And you're like, psych.
He don't care about no pie in the face.
Yeah, I don't know if you know Vince McMahon, but he cares about that.
Did you see him? What night was it when the Roman Reigns thing when he came in there? I thought that was pretty good. I don't know if we talked about it. Yeah.
Roman Reigns needs to know his role.
Yeah. All right, so that's your winners and losers. Well, I'm going to stick with the same winner, John. And I mean, Daniel Bryan was my winner. You stole it. I mean, I could think of a quick other winner. Not really.
Braun's still a winner. I haven't even seen the mixed match challenge, but just knowing that you're on the same team as Alexa Bliss, you're a winner. Dude. You're a winner every week that happens.
It was a really good match. I mean, I can't throw that match on because it's a mixed match challenge after everything else, and most people don't get to watch it. But set yourself out 10 minutes and go watch it. But my winner would be Daniel Bryan. My loser, man, that's a tough one. I'm gonna say my loser is probably the tag team.
Division on Raw.
Yep.
Good choice.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what's coming to my head. I'm just not.
Who?
Tag team division as a whole on Raw.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotcha.
It's just like
they had a good
even
match
said it
with the Miz Raj and the Balor Club. I thought that was a pretty good match.
Yeah, but look what they had. They had to bring them 3-3 to even make it somewhat where you would want to watch it.
Yeah, if Finn Balor wasn't there, I wouldn't be interested in the tag
Exactly.
match.
Yeah, probably not.
So
And the
I'm going to say that.
revival. Oh my lord! Oh,
Yeah,
they're hard to look at, man.
Yep.
Still haven't seen them.
That's the main reason I don't like watching them, because they're just so ugly.
Yeah, I hate being like that. But you gotta
I
look
do
halfway
too.
decent. Braun's not a beautiful person, but he's attractive
But
as
you know
far
what?
as wrestling goes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's my loser is the tag team and Raw, and they even said it. Sheamus and Cesaro even said we done ran through everybody. There's nobody here.
Yeah.
So, which leads me to John. Who do you think he's picking? And when are we finding out?
Elias, we'll find out WrestleMania night, I believe.
I'm saying Elias too. Braxton is adamant against Elias. He doesn't think Elias is going to be it, but I think it's going to be Elias.
I'm with Braxton on that.
Really?
Going back to my
I think
point.
it's gonna be Finn Balor.
Going back to my point about my ideas of like changing up the rosters or like, fleshing them out. You got so many stars right now. If you don't do what I'm talking about, then you need to make some bad to the bone tag teams out of this. Because when they do these special events, there won't be room for everybody. Because you got 3 hours to work with, and you're putting Raw guys and SmackDown on the same pay-per-view when they've been doing separate pay-per-views.
Well, some of the people you can't put with a tag team, John. You can't really put Braun Strowman with a tag, can you?
They're doing it.
I know they're doing it, but are they going to do it for a long time, or are they just going to do it for Raw? I mean, for WrestleMania. That's what I don't know. I mean,
he's going to win the belt. He's going to have to wrestle as a tag team. Him and Elias.
If they win it, this just won't be fair. If that's what you mean, they should go run through everybody. And then it would be awesome if they do win it. They go over they beat everybody at Raw. Then they go over to SmackDown. They invade SmackDown and call out the Usos or whoever has the belts over there. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Chance, your winner and loser for the week.
Got 2 winners, 2 losers.
Two
double
winners feature
are Bray Wyatt, because it can't go down, so at least there's a chance that you can ascend from this death.
I mean, he died
in a better spot.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other winner is the WWE Universe, due to Daniel Bryan coming back.
Dun, 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 dun. You're right.
And then my losers are Roman Reigns. Every time somebody gets on a stretcher, they're gonna make my losers list. Every time I see it, anyway.
Yeah.
Now let me go back to, didn't Roman Reigns, he got pushed off a ramp by Braun Strowman on a stretcher too, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Got bad luck with those stretchers, man. Bad luck.
He got, talk about a beating. He got a beating that night.
Yeah,
emergency services he struggles with, because he got on an EMS truck, a paramedic truck, and got knocked over. Stretcher knocked over.
Yeah,
he needs to stay away from all EMTs.
Other loser is Asuka, just because I feel like they're starting to do her like they are Reigns as far as running her ragged.
Yeah.
Yep. She's supposed to be special.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's 10:44. I re-invited Chad twice, and we hadn't seen him. So we got one. Big part. Yeah, he gone. We got 1 minute. Any last bit of information we didn't talk about? I'll take 10 seconds here to say I don't understand the Sasha and Bailey back and forth.
I don't either.
Old crap thing. I want to see somebody go out there, hit somebody with a chair, and officially be a bad guy.
Yep.
I don't get the back and forth and being pissed off at Sasha because she tried to win the Elimination Chamber. But just me.
Bailey's not going to be bad. She makes too much money being Bailey for that company. Sasha, she could turn like that. And I still don't know why it hasn't happened yet. Maybe it will at WrestleMania. But are they having a Royal Rumble too at WrestleMania?
Yeah, Women's Battle Royal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, if they're in it, they could materialize something out of that. But yeah, I'm agreeing with you, John. I don't see anything yet.
Chance, any parting? Go ahead, Chase. But wrap up.
I don't have nothing. I was just.
You were umming.
Just glad to be here.
Completing his thought.
Chance, anything that's still on your mind that we haven't addressed in our show tonight?
You don't know. You don't want to know everything that's on my mind, John.
Oh.
Well, I'll say this: it's been a blessing. It's an hour-long show, and I haven't heard your baby cry, so that means she has slept for 1 hour. That may be the only hour you get. Oh, okay.
She actually
didn't hear it.
Just cried like 30 seconds ago.
Man.
John. Jinx.
Sorry. All right, guys. With that, we're gonna say goodbye.
Next, John, let me stop you for a second. We will have to bring in Chad's new segment next week.
Yeah.
Did we let everybody know what the name of it would be? We did, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
With
it's the played out wrestler of the week.
Yep, played out. All
right, so we'll start that next week. We had some technical difficulties. Thank you so much for joining us. We ask that you like, we ask that you subscribe, get the word out for us, let other people know about the show. We're trying to build up our subscribers. Until next time, we'll see you later.
See ya.